When I saw this, what popped up auditorily was the grime and the gristle. My students at an early dismissal. Meaning what? They don't get their independence? That's their best offense and defense is to build a higher fence to keep them out. One of the greatest things this city has to offer. Oh yeah, I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna shout. Except somebody told me, try not to do it like that. You can say whatever you want to say, but no swears and no yelling.
Someone, but is there somebody I could be in contact with, or just leave my name and number?
You send me an email stating what you want. Forward that to our policy department. Does that work for you?
That's fine. I just want you to know that I'm a struggling writer. I did call myself an advocacy writer because I am recovering from assault in 2013 and 2015. Both happened at a CPS school. I want you to know I'm not a very good writer. It's actually a lot easier for me to speak. But if you want... Hi, I'm not sure if you're going to get this, but I'm very uncomfortable sharing my name, which my email would do, my phone number, which my phone number would do, because I did state that I struggle with writing. So that's not really an option. Why not instead inform the person you have in mind that I need to contact them, and I will continue to write that, but just know whatever I write, I do post publicly because that's what stops this PTSD. You guys have, well, not you, but this company was a company I already reached out to in 2019, and those are the memories I'm dealing with because of the response to violence in a school and the violation of federal rights of students with special needs. So we had a lovely conversation, and yet the result was basically coercion in trying to make me feel good about it. So I'd rather do it that way. Under ADA, I get to discuss reasonable accommodation, and while it is easier to understand medical or physical needs than maybe emotional or mental ones, I'm pretty much an expert in both because this was a assault that happened over 3 years and went unrecognized. That's why the teacher union, I don't feel, has the back of teachers nor their students. So please confirm in this email if that would be better. Like I stated, I do share everything I do live because it literally stops the dampening, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with trauma, but the individual survivor victim patient s'il vous plaît is what I'm calling it, if you please, because patients are included in that population that absolutely get abused. So you're not alone in participating in the trauma. There's other companies, businesses, even charities that have contributed by showing to me that they absolutely will do the same behaviors of this administration, the teachers, and some parents. Okay, some teachers and some parents, but absolutely the new administration at this school. Also, I don't want to reveal anything identifying because, as I stated, I am a public speaker on this. And just building my audience. I have over 23 sites. I don't know how many members or likes. I don't pay attention to those things. But each site was created from a PTSD or acceleration of chronic pain and nerve damage that I decided to use my voice. And when I couldn't speak, I decided to write it out. So, I don't really feel comfortable sharing that with you, not knowing exactly who you are, because I learned that tit for tat and how you have your friends back is a strategy that is absolutely utilized and to evoke fear, whether you realize it or not. All right, I did listen to myself because I record everything and I can hear myself repeating or using a lot of word fillers, which is something I didn't do before. But just note that this is the first time I've listened to myself in its entirety. Why it's significant. I chose you because the memories were, well, I quantified them and they were literally on replay. So please email me back with that information and confirm that you spoke to this person and that I do have a disability and I am doing my best to be accommodated. And if that's not understood, then maybe we need a third party to also be present. I can have my advocate there if necessary, because I am not going to leave the table or the conversation losing weeks, months of recovery time from conversations that lead nowhere. That's what I've learned over 9 years. All right. Thanks so much, Miss. Take care.
You can say whatever you want to say, but no swears and no yelling. And I said, okay. I took the photo, here's the information, and now here's the post. That again, I saw it and I heard it. Do I want to keep living with this poetry in my head? Heck no. That's why
I made trauma three-dimensional, audiovisual, and tactile. Yo.
I really do think it's better not to even have a TV. I've never had a television in Chicago. You can do it online now.
Do it online, huh?
It's called a smart TV, and then you're able to hook up to all these different apps and sites, I think.
Okay, probably has something to do with like the telephones.
something. Quick question. With the housing, do you get any...
There's so many things that need to be straightened out. Okay, get on with the CDLs, because the CDLs, I wouldn't have to do this shit here.
Does your case manager know about the CDL? Is she able to help you with that?
She don't know anything what I'm talking about. She don't understand. That's out of her league, and she don't understand what the hell it is. And yeah, and what the deal is she don't understand.
Did you ever get the contact for the Truman College, the work program?
From the college?
Yeah, you should check in with them, because if it is...
Yeah, they was telling me all that shit, but here's the thing is, he was fucking me around over that email. All I have to do is go over here, and I got to listen to this loudmouth in here, okay, and play with the computers over there. He's not one to do that.
Who's he?
Well, he's supposed to be doing that fucking...
Try not to swear so much, Mr.
Okay.
Let's just focus.
Yeah,
Hold on. No, it's okay. If it's all about a computer, I thought you were getting a computer from them, and then I could show you email and...
Well, you know, on my fingers...
Yeah?
Do you know how, when you type on it, that you tap your fingers? Okay. Well, I have two of my fingers are shorted out or something, because when I touch it, it will hit the other keys. It's electric.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, it is. Before I had to type, I had to use the manual typewriters and everything. Okay, these electric typewriters, all you do is touch them, and the impulses is trigger them. That is what's fucking me up.
Oh,
because
yeah.
my hand's over here, and the fucking key over here will catch that on. What the fuck is this? What it was is when I got stabbed in the throat, and I tore up my right arm, all right, and my two fingers on it, they swelled up after 30 days of trying to get him to do anything. The fingers, I said, well, here, I showed him the fingers, and the ends of you know how hot dogs look when they split open?
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Well, that's what my fingers looked like.
Oh, my
they
goodness.
was big as hot dogs, and the end underneath the fingernails was split open under there. And he looked at it. He said, "Oh shit, He thought I was telling him bullshit, trying to get some pain pills. And then he seen this here that the end of the fingers is swollen up so big around that it's split open. But they took me over and had the X-rays and everything in my shoulder. Okay, that's what caused me all the pain in my arm and down the hand, fingers and stuff like that. We can't do anything about it because it would tear up more shit getting in there than you can do. Can you fix it? There's nerve centers. And it says, that's the trouble. Okay, we know what's wrong with you now. But, yeah, because you was telling this here, and I thought we thought you just try and get some pain pills.
Yeah.
I used to pitch hardball. You know how you pitch hardball?
Squeeze the ball a little bit, right?
Yeah, you gotta squeeze the ball. I can put that ball anywhere I want around where that the thing the batter was. I put it anywhere in there. Put it right here, right there. Well, you know what? I do it now, and when I throw it like this, I'll hit the ground. Yeah, my shoulder's all fucked up.
Jeez, you're just a mess.
My arm, you remember, did I ever show you how it bends? Yeah, well, this arm won't straighten out. What's wrong with it? That's 1980.
I wasn't alive in 1980, so things have obviously changed. What has changed about mental health? Well, hospitals definitely talk about it, but the reality is are they doing their best addressing these issues? I have some experience with this.
Thinking of coming up, because I have your paperwork. You probably want that, right?
Well, yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Okay, so that briefcase. I can bring you the TV screen. I don't know if it's a TV screen, but that's yours as well. What if I come up and visit? I can check out your new place. If you need anything, I can bring it, or get you like a home warming gift, and we can do a little podcasting tomorrow. And remember the topics. It's really up to you. So here's my thinking. This is just because it's aligned to sort of what we talked about the faith-based. You went to church with me. You did go to one of the events with me. So obviously there's a faith-based focus on this. So that just means that, remember how we first met and that I decided to trust you, because one of the important things in Christian religion, or I guess any religion, is to love thy neighbor. Yeah. So I'm like, technically he's my neighbor.
Okay, I told you before, I don't trust what they say.
What, the scriptures?
Yeah, Christians, you really don't. But here's the thing is, what they say is they think that what the Bible is saying verbatim. Yeah, that's the way it says in the Old Testament all the way through.
You know what a good word is to have in your vocabulary? It'll make your life a whole lot simpler. Instead of saying, I don't trust Christians, just add the word some. I don't trust some Christian. But yeah, you're right. Some are not real ones. Yeah. But the real ones have faith. Remember?
Well, they have faith.
Faith. I had faith that you deserve nice things and that you matter. We're going to start again with hunger and food, because one thing I want to tackle is how to end hunger. So I only have my minimal experience, but there's more people out there that have been doing this for a lot longer. You know, I did it in my very small community, being a school teacher and then working with homeless advocacy, because I believed eating someone a home-cooked meal is going to give them the strength, the sustenance, the nutrients to continue on for one more day. And if you can give me one more day. Now, you're the unique situation where you had medical advocacy and your diet really was important to your heart health. Even though it doesn't seem like you needed any sort of stints or surgery.
Because you're going to be another case manager, right?
Oh, heck no.
Well, you call yourself a case manager anyway.
Well, you know what? The thing is, more effective. I mean, during the time of advocacy, I don't know how much good I could do, because I was triggering pretty badly and I was not able to keep my agenda. I couldn't figure out the days. So as long as somebody was able to meet me at the same spot the next day at the same time, like, we were fine. That's why it was ideal that you were just down the street from me. Otherwise, it's really hard because a lot of people don't keep timepieces, don't have phones. I bumped into somebody. I actually gave him some money. It was about to storm. So I just said, ooh, go inside. We're going to have really bad thunderstorms. I don't know if you remember a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when it was like 90 mile per hour winds and everything. It was pretty bad. It was a deluge. But this gentleman was in a wheelchair. But he remembered me. I kind of said, he remembered me, and his name. I'm so sorry, I don't remember, but if you remember me, I really appreciate that. And he said, are you still doing the advocacy? And I said, I'm having some struggles with it, but I do podcasts, and
you can't be effective with anyone when their objective is not shared, even though this is their business, their concerns, they're in this position. And I'm basing it on their own words. I don't have original words. Well, I do now, but back then, I'm mimicking off of what you're saying, using your energy, your drive, your passion, and just saying, I'm a person with a disability. It's only frustrating because I'm basing survivor, whatever. I'm here. So I'm doing it to help you because of my experience. So do you want to be part of it, or are you also going to reveal to me something that is abusive of power or marketing or something that just doesn't really sit well? They just make it up as they go. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what they're going to do.
Nice and wonderful, but then when they do that actually re-triggers me. I find it just way too it's just problematic for me. My hope was literally unlimited, because even if I had a bad experience with one person where I didn't see them again, or I had the information they needed and they didn't meet me,
they just make it up as they go.
That's okay. I figured I'd bump into them again because I was walking around so much. I'm just not out every day consistently, because remember, I was doing this a lot when I had the Northwestern Memorial appointments. So I was going to my appointments 2 to 3 times a week, and I was walking around the neighborhood, trying to avoid going home. So I would bump into a lot more people. But it was cool that he remembered me, and at the moment I wanted to say, yes, I'm doing advocacy. Let's connect. But I just, in the moment, for the first time, I actually said, you know what? I've given it up, but only because I think I can maybe more effective podcasting. So I didn't go into the whole spiel, but you know the spiel. Think of the 5 things you want anyone in the world to know about homeless people, like what your experience is. Like, you share some very harrowing experiences that, you kind of share off and on. The ones I remember the most are the ones you repeat the most. But the one time that you were living in that abandoned house and stuff, I mean, it's just amazing the places that you found when you were living in sub-zero temperatures off the train tracks. And no, I'm serious. And I'm worried bringing concrete blocks down to your place so you can put your burner on top of it. Someone's going to come by and drop that on your tent, because there's a lot of mental illness around here. So,
there's a lot of
but the mental illness issue is probably because they are homeless. They didn't, what came first?
Most of them's not homeless. The money to pay the dope man.
Well, yeah, and then there's also the addiction, because, what else can you do but twiddle your thumbs? Like you said, there's no opportunities. Why aren't they giving people more job resources? Escapism is something everyone does. You don't have to be homeless to be addicted to drugs or doing escapism every day, like watching TV until your mind is numb. That's a form of escapism, too.
It is. the drugs in this country, they're up in there doing life and all that stuff like that. They don't have to do that lifetime.
Build halfway houses and to help without stigmatization. I am going to write about a couple times, obviously, when it was necessary and why there are benefits to some drugs to help with chronic pain and anxiety, and also, to make your body feel so different. Because when I had the cancer surgery, it made my body so different, and I had a neck surgery procedure. It makes your body so different that your body changes biologically because it's so different. It's almost like whatever issues you were having, it changes. I don't know how to describe it, but you do need to go through that experience. But I wouldn't sit and write down in a notebook the 5 things you want people to know. It just has to be a list. It doesn't have to be paragraphs. Just write. Because remember, the first thing I do with advocacy is I need a writing sample, but I don't tell them that because a lot of what I found with homeless is that they had bad experiences as children in their families. They've been called stupid, they've been kicked, and then they go to school and get bullied. I've had many people say, gosh, if you were my teacher, I would have been good in school. But the thing is I noticed when I finally got the writing sample, that's why I was sticking with some of these individuals for months at a time, because they had to trust me. I noticed how not coherent their writing was. That's the first thing I need to know, truly, in advocacy. So I need to understand how much time, and I basically have unlimited patience and unlimited time during my injury. You know, I'm still recovering, but I think I'm pretty much ahead of it. You can hear my voice. It's a lot different, right?
Yeah, you are. You sound like you're good.
Thank you. If you're around me enough, you will notice things, and I don't allow people to be around me unless I have to do like the board meetings, which was a disaster. There's actually a board meeting tonight. I thought I was going to go. But guess what? I realized I can just tell the story without them doing their little strategy, which is to yell at me, threaten to read my emails aloud. They laughed. They mocked my disability. Like they mocked my speech. I'm not going to say disability because whether or not I have one or not, I don't like that word. I don't think I'm disabled. I think I struggle with some things, and it's all because of them. Because they are utilizing, see, think about it. Who takes some knowledge that they have, that I'm a survivor, and then uses fear to make it worse, and then the bystander abuse. So I decided not to go to the meeting. I thought, I'm going to go to the meeting tonight. I'm going to sit there and show them I'm not scared of them. And my body literally started freaking out. And I realized, okay, you know what? I'm not going to go to the meeting. And then my body chilled out. And I'm like, see, you just have to put voice, and then your body will tell you what you're capable of doing. So why put myself in that position? Instead, I'm going to go back to Holston and go from that end, because I can't talk to these people. These people are the worst. Plus, they are so into these strategies. They think that that's the most effective way because I won't question them. They are so scared of getting questioned. And the people that are in the meetings support them. So I need normal people in the meetings, and normal people don't go. Thanks for hearing that, because that's the one thing that does help end trauma is recognizing. I always say you just got to validate it. I was trying to help somebody deal with a situation where, you know, they're dealing with a family member who literally is just a curmudgeon every day. And I said, well, you don't have to be the positive person. I'm like, why don't you give her a taste of her own medicine and just be really glum and gloomy and melancholy? And then if she notices, say, well, I must be absorbing some of your attitude. And then have her recognize, like, oh, I do this to you all the time. I don't know. It's just tricky, because as I'm listening to this person, I'm like, if somebody was that negative around me, I wouldn't want to be around them. But I guess she kind of has to, because it's like a family relative through marriage and stuff. So she's been her emotional punching bag for like years. And I just said, well, you created that pattern. You know, you got to break it if you can't manage it. And that's why with advocacy, I'm almost trained to take it all, but not in that capacity. Okay, so the 5 things, just bullet points. In fact, what I want you to do is write the number 1. Good. Write the number 1, skip 2 lines. Write the number 2, skip 2 lines. Write the number 3, skip 2 lines. Write the number 4, skip 2 lines. Write the number 5. Imagine that you only have a week to live. So your life... No. I know
I got 60 years ago.
Well, yeah, but that's why we have to imagine it, because then you'll never do it. So this is a deadline.
Okay.
Imagine you have this knowledge, which you do, because you made it to, let's see, you're 73, right? Your birthday was February 19th, right?
Right.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. 1950. Yeah, I do remember, which is awesome, means you are not a source of trauma, because I do lose my numbers, and it's kind of scary. Okay. Because people I do meet, it doesn't have to be someone I'm advocating for, but I won't put their name in my phone number, because if they end up being a horrible person and then they have a phone number that connects to numbers that I know well, I know I'm going to lose those numbers. It's actually happened to me. Just because I take the time and energy.
Phone number, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because the way phones work, you know, you're not doing these patterns with muscle memory. You're just sort of touching one button to dial or a couple buttons to dial or using your voice to dial, so you don't remember the number. But there is significance in numbers, as you know. You have 5 things. I used to say 10 things, but 10 was really too overwhelming. So just start with 5. You just write them down in the list as you think of them, and then tomorrow I'll show you how we're going to choose the topics to focus on. It'll just be randomized, okay? Like, that way you don't have to think of them as this is the most important thing I want to share. Just let your ideas flow. You want to tell the next generation of survival. You need to know this about the homeless community because the homeless community has all this knowledge of survival. How do you survive in a society that kind of hates you? I know I've said it before like that. They don't hate you, but they definitely harass you.
Oh, yeah. Well, they do, but you know what? All they do, they're harassing them, telling them to get away from them.
Yeah, I know. And it's not a shock, but the police were harassing you. And I just thought, of course they're harassing you in this neighborhood. And they are the worst offenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just can't believe that one person told you, you people think, you know, you deserve to be out in front. And it's just like, no, we just put them in the shadows. Anyway. Or make it...
They thought I was living out front, so they look at me.
Right. Let's meet by the fountain at that intersection just because I want people to see, because that's how you de-demonize it. Like I said, you have to be friends, saying I trust you, I respect you, your voice matters, to remove the stigma of homelessness. So maybe that could be like what I want to share if I only had a week to live and I had to make my list of 5 things. What I want people to know is to truly help this population, spend time with them, because what you're showing people is I'm not afraid of homeless, and you learn something, and why not? Just because they don't have a home means they're less of a human being. That's not right. That would be my first thing on my list.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Wilbur Smith?
No, who is that?
That is one of the baddest ass writers there ever was, and he was banned in '64 from publishing books. He's from South Africa. Okay, he's white, and he writes that yes, how the people over there do and everything, how they get along. Yeah, and okay, what this country is doing. Okay, they are the ones that cause all the fucking racism.
Our country?
Yes, they cause it. Because over there they don't have it.
Interesting. All right. I might look this person up. Oh, and you're Edgar Casey?
Well,
you're Edgar Casey? Aren't you impressed I remembered his name?
Yeah, that was a medical.
Yeah, I'm able now to look at the book and read it. I'm a little ahead of my recovery. It was just too triggering, to be honest, because visually I'm really struggling with it. But I did a lot of writing today. I've been, oh my God, exposing myself to so much visually busy stuff lately, every day for like 5 hours a day. So I'd be willing to look at that book again. So I'm going to go to the library and see what I can find on Edgar Casey for us, okay?
The writer that I had on the book, okay, he wrote a story on it. He's a writer, okay, but his name's not Edgar Casey. But you get up there on that whatever floor is it in
the library, the Central Library.
The
is
library, it the big one?
Yeah, Central
and
Library.
You tell them you want the Edgar Casey book, they'll get it.
Yeah, the librarians are wonderful. That's awesome.
Yeah,
they're really good.
They know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they don't talk. They don't want. That's something that's not really supposed to be out. Because the Harvard University and Kansas City Star come down on Edgar Casey in the 1910s or 20s or something like that to publish. They was going to destroy him. Yeah, they was going to destroy him, and they couldn't touch him. Couldn't touch him. He was doing just exactly what he said he was doing, and he was publishing this stuff, and you can't touch him.
Awesome.
Yeah, go ahead and try it. He said, yeah. You can't touch him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like your personal hero for that reason alone, given your life experience.
Kansas City Star, I used to watch Kansas City Star all the time because they was published about Leavenworth, how they killing people out there. Yeah, they did it all the time. They always setting up the murders out there all the time.
Hey, you know what? That brings me to the next list I want you to make. So does the first list of 5 things make sense?
The first thing?
The first 5 things about what you want the younger generation or, people that you've encountered, like maybe you didn't feel confident telling them like, hey, you really shouldn't do this. Just something that people can think about in the homeless community. Another thing, remember, somebody mentioned, like, I'm really grateful for all the stories I've been told because one issue when I was making my goodie bags, remember, was the issue with safe sex. I didn't even think about that. How do you do that? Or stamps. That's why I put stamps in the goodie bag. No, I'm serious. You might have an important letter to mail and you don't have a stamp, and how can they don't sell them in single stamps. Think about it.
Yeah.
Work on one sentence or 2 sentences. That's why I wanted you to skip a space and just write down 5 things that you really want the next generation to know.
I did a bunch of whole time, okay? And there was a guy come in my cell up there in Butner, okay? And I let him in, okay? And he was okay. And, I had a pet fly, all right? I flew around and everything. I told him I'd mess with that fly.
Oh yeah, I remember the fly. Yep.
And I when I come in Atlanta, 3-4 years later or something like that, he was down there and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" Yeah, woo, 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 woo. And he said, "Yeah, I remember about that fly." He said, "That fly is okay."
That's a powerful statement. You told me you had one friend, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and you're like, "Yeah, it was a fly." You made me laugh. That was powerful.
Okay, yeah, but he said that I should go on as a spokesman.
Mm-hmm.
That I should be on the radio. He wanted to hear me on the radio.
You do have a nice voice for a radio listener.
Yeah,
You just got to cut out the swears. Just got to work on the fuck, shit, fuck, bullshit. I'm just saying. Although a well-executed fuck does sound really good and feels really good sometimes.
Yeah.
Next thing, turn the page. So new page.
Oh, gotta turn the page?
Yep, same thing. Write the number 1, skip 2 lines. Write the number 2, skip 2 lines. Write the number 3, skip 2 lines, write the number 4, skip 2 lines, and then write the number 5. You have a unique experience and perspective on something many people are not going to understand. This is also based in faith, and I don't want to say the Christian faith only. I'm sure a lot of faiths believe in this. We need to be able to treat our prisoners better, not just to give them training and to make sure that their futures are secure when they leave the prison, but also how they're treated inside of it. That's why I always ask you, are you fed well? Do they give you medical care? Are people snarky to you? Are they polite to you? Do they seem like they like their jobs? Because that's part of advocacy. When I go into the ER, or used to, I want to know which nurses are best because I want to give them a thank you. I want to say, keep doing what you're doing. It really affected our client, and that matters when they're restructuring from trauma.
Okay.
So, so I don't really even have... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Your president was president when you got born?
Reagan.
Reagan, that's a murderer.
Okay.
Everybody says they love him and everything like that, but I happen to know that when in Leavenworth, okay, Carter was down, would not go with anybody killing people. He would not go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what happened? And when Reagan come in, and I come out of Marion, and was sent down to Leavenworth, okay? And all through 80, man, Leavenworth was sweet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and guess what happened? Ronald Reagan come in, and Ronald Reagan did this. First, January the 18th or something like that, Big Robbie got killed.
Who?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he killed him and cut his head halfway off.
What was his name?
Big Robbie.
Big Robbie? What was his...
Yeah, Big Robbie.
What was his name, like his first name?
I don't know what his real name is, but he had 2 FBI killed. He killed 2 FBI.
What?
Yeah, he killed 2 FBIs.
Is this something I can Google?
Yes, you can.
All right, I'll look it up. Like I said, the one thing that with advocacy is reliability, trustworthiness, and safety. And everything you have shared with me, I have been able to verify. At least your personal stuff. Okay, you're very good with dates. I know you don't think you're good with that type.
Fats got killed.
Fats? Who's Fats?
His name is Fats. That's what they call him on compound.
So these are people you knew?
No, they're on compound.
Oh.
1,000 people in Leavenworth, and people around, they know who it's who. Because the Fats is, these are gangsters.
So you're saying when Carter was president, he was much more sympathetic to prisoners.
He
okay.
would not allow them people to kill us. What Reagan did, he told them, let them go.
Like, what do you mean? Like, shoot you or something?
He killed 7 people that I knew.
Wow. Okay, so he just lessened the rules for, like, guards and things.
Yeah, they get rid of them. They don't want to fool with them. They just kill them. Reagan was known for FBI snitch. Because whether it was McCartney or something like that, Reagan was calling the FBI and snitching on people around Hollywood back in the 40s. Yeah, and that's where, and he was always covering the FBI's ass. And that's exactly what he did with fucking Big Robbie. As soon as Big Robbie got, he took him out.
So yeah, you keep people in fear. Yeah, we need real prison reform. You know, one thing that the new mayor of Chicago is into, he doesn't want to add 2,000 new police. He wants to add maybe 200, but he wants to distribute the money to more mental health services and provide real acknowledgement that mental health is a huge part of violence in the city, and you can't give that all on the police. And also, I don't want to give it to fake advocacy, because remember I told you the whole point of I'm doing this is I found through social services, not because they were trying to hide it from me. They were pretty blatant with it. I just asked one question. They don't expect it. It's their marketing. And when I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to hold you to that, and then they're like, oh crap, I didn't know that you were going to actually want to come visit or see the initiatives that we created. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? I'm not going to just take you for face value, you know. So that's always interesting. So what things would you want to see different? So, like, you know, go back into your history if it's not too traumatic or sad. But think about the things you wish you were given. You know, you did have access to the law library. You did have access to help others, which is probably really helpful for you to have spent that time doing that, you know? Because you obviously kept that information and you applied it later in life. So that was really useful.
Yeah.
So, like, privileges, you know, were prisoners given privileges, and what privileges were they given? Did behavior even matter? Like, how were they on top of, like, bullying? I mean, simple things, you know. Think of it like a school system almost.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing is, the prison system, there's 6 levels in the federal prison system, okay? The 6th level is where, what you call that, out there in Colorado, underground?
Oh, I don't know. A person? I'm supposed to know a person underground in a prison?
Chapo out of Mexico.
Oh, El Guapo?
Oh, Chapo, the one that cuts everybody's head off.
I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
A cartel? Cartel you're talking about.
Well, it's a cartel. He was a leader over the cartels down there.
Okay.
And yeah, they went down there and got him and brought him up here, and they put him in prison, and they sent him to Colorado. Okay, what he's that's Colorado. That's a 6th level joint. They should close that place.
Oh, okay. It's just really not humane. I mean, not that you want to treat some of these. I mean, honestly, if you murdered your whole family and took out a whole, like, you know, I'm sorry, but some of these mass shootings are so disgusting. I don't think to some degree those people should live, quite frankly. I'm not for the death penalty exactly, but why keep them in existence when their families have to suffer more by knowing their family member died?
Okay, now, here's the thing is, okay, El Chapo, okay, he should be isolated and can't get nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he shouldn't be killed. He should live the rest of his life in fucking prison.
Yeah, that's its own hell too. So, you know, without getting too political, just again, if you are able to link one or two of your experiences, like, you know, being thrown in the hole, like there should be policies that are more, you know, like a prison guard should not be able to just make that decision. There should be a protocol, right, of decision making.
But you know what? The prison guards do it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. There should be more accountability.
What they do in the federal prison system is they set people up and get other inmates to kill. They do it all the time.
So if you find that to be super problematic, which I do, then how would you creatively fix that? Maybe we don't have a solution for it, but I want to start the conversation just because I want to segue that into your victorious moment that you had recently, where those individuals tried to blame you for something but couldn't come up with the evidence to show the judge and basically lied to them in court.
Yes. Okay, check this out. Remember, earlier I said about Big Robbie? I really paid attention to him. The guy that killed him, name was Banner, all right? And he moved in to the end cell of my range, and in November, and then in January he killed Big Robbie, and he laid in a hole.
So they lowered the security, and that's what enabled the other prisoners to kill him, basically.
Yeah, you can't.
Who is this person? Like, what was his crime? What did he do? What did this person do?
Well, Banner?
Yeah.
He took a sword about 20 inches long, and he snuck up on Big Robbie at noon and cut his head halfway
How did he
off.
get a sword?
A sword? Oh, you get that's back there when we had all the swords. Everybody had swords. 22-inch blade. I knew Banner, and you know what happened, Banner? He got a set of drug case. Got a drug case down there in El Reno. Okay, and they took him and sent him back to the penitentiary in Lompoc, California, and killed him.
Okay, because the purpose of this question is also to see if people can get out of prison, maybe reform themselves, and then use their experience to actually do really good. Because again, I think some individuals that have really struggled with various things in life can be really good counselors and even work with children. I mean, there is a lot of potential there. It's just having a system that's safe for everybody. So we got to work together. So that's the goal, just so you know. It's not just about sharing bloody stories.
Bloody boys,
and
get up there in that bloody
I don't want to churn up any bad memories that you have because of your experience, because you were pretty angry when I met you. I mean, the first thing you said to me was, you're going to get these motherfuckers with your finger pointed in my face. And I thought, all right, okay. Let's start with that. And I just said, you can't point at people's faces, and if you are hard of hearing, you got to let them know I'm hard of hearing, so I'm going to put my head in so people don't get, I don't want to say scared, but like I said, we have a not good attitude about some populations, and we think it's okay to mistreat them. There's some countries and cities that are solving their homeless problems with really creative ways. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I keep seeing headlines, and that's why I got to get to reading, because reading is the best thing to just absorb new knowledge, learn vocabulary. And again, that's the whole point. These doctors didn't read, the school teachers didn't read, the parents didn't read, the administrators don't want to read. Everyone just wants to pick up their paycheck and do as little work as possible. It's kind of
exactly what the trouble is.
It's disgusting. And I am still very much impressed that the very first thing you told me is you want to get back in the workforce and earn your way. And I said, all right, this is different. This is not what I typically hear. Anyway, yeah, and the thing is, I remember giving my phone to people, and I thought, well, one day someone's just going to walk away with my phone. I won't get it back, but nobody ever did it. And some of my friends were like, you're crazy. You can't just do that. I'm like, why? It hasn't happened so far. I think we have a mutual respect that I have something they need. And if I trust you, then you're helping me, because I let them know, hey, if you take my phone, then I can't do this for anyone else. And they actually do care about that, which is different than a lot of people I've met. So that's kind of cool.
Well, they steal your phone.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, they stole mine out there.
Yeah, but you're not trying to do advocacy.
They got me another one.
But you're not trying to do advocacy out there. People are, I'm sorry, but I can do it because I am a woman and you're a man. And there's my secret weapon, maybe. People don't get fresh with me. In fact, my neighbor and I, we might go to the park, and they are very much aware that I say, I feel perfectly safe in the park. Nobody ever says out of step. Sometimes they say things and I just say, hey, don't do that. And they don't do it ever again.
So I've said it before and I'll say it again. The scariest person to me is somebody who's really smart with money. Why? Well, my experience is 100%. They understand, they're targeting you when they are getting information, because 10 out of 10 times I found will use what they can to avoid questions and avoid consequences. They're so smart. And the words told to me, an audio trigger, was somebody saying to me, you think you're so smart. And this was the ultimate release of an audio trigger of an insecure, inadequate, unvalidated, is it invalidated? She was female, who need for attention was the mental illness, or what we would say abnormal. So homeless people do not scare me. In fact, like I said, when I'm very clear about boundaries, tell them what I'm hoping to achieve by the conversation, they treat me like a human being. The ones who do not are the ones I found in stand-up, the ones I found who use their kids with special needs as a way to try to date me. Excuse me, this is a date? And the ones who, once they find out I have a traumatic brain injury, concussion, and literally live every day like a new day, try to plant seeds to coerce and control their narrative. So this is reminding me of World 1, or let's call it Chicago Parks District. You should have a visual of which world I'm talking about if you've been following my curriculum. And if not, you've got a lot of scrolling to do. Education, in an instance, can be gone. No access. And that brings us back to slave narratives, where they tortured emotionally, mentally, physically exhausted individuals, thinking they were less than. And that's the first place we go, because it's all about money. And, who's going to labor for you? Because they kept talking about their soft hands. Did they not think I was listening? It's just very weird behavior. So the first step is because of them. I'm going to call this part of the project Avenge Neptune. And why I have to be grateful. I will never identify you. Only you can identify you. But these are the stories connected to lessons, sessions, and
confessions. Shh. Silence is golden. Thank you. The next seed I'm planting is Chicago Parks District, because they told me no one will believe you and we all stick together. And the origin of World One is blue balls, because it's the beginning of bullying. How do you create an adult bully? Well, you let kids bully and you reinforce it as a good thing. And more.